Flemington live for the running of race 4, the Course of History handicap. Flemington, of course, has been Victoria's principal race course since the year of 1840, when it all began down there. Now, this race is for 3-year-old colts and geldings. It's over 1,400 metres, and very shortly the runners will be called up into line. Stephen King, Melbourne's top jockey, is riding Centouche, which is TAB number 3, trained by John Maher at Flemington. John Maher, of course, if you had to nominate Australia's most successful and most prolific trainer of winners, particularly in the last 6 months, you'd have to give him the pat, because on the final day of the VRC Spring Carnival in November of last year, he trained 5 winners. And his run of luck didn't stop there. He's been preparing winner after winner ever since. And just this week, he's about to commence operations here in Sydney. He's been given permission to have stables on Randwick Racecourse, where he'll have a spillover of some 10 or 12 horses in work. So John Maher's going to be a very busy trainer. He'll be commuting between Sydney and Melbourne 2 or 3 times a week. Now, we'll be bringing you live the daily double races today from Randwick and also from Flemington, and they look to be about set for action now at Flemington for race 4. John Russell, your caller.
The inside was the first to jump out from Tranquilino, and beginning well also in behind them is Parketry showing speeder, and Jeremiah up in that leading group is looking for the lead, being followed by Tranquilino and Paris Lana, and a bit further back is Centouche is settling centre field, followed by Cam Quarterfinal display back behind them, and they were followed after a gap in the field by over on the outside then Stage Performer, and further back along the inside is Regal Tier. Next to last is Meteoric Way and Mr. Mutual Respect at the tail of the field. Racing down the side, 900 metres left to go. Serious Business by a length to Tranquilino, a length and a half. Bandera on the inside of Jeremiah. Close behind them on the rails, Paris Lane, Cam Quarter at the head of the others, followed by Centouche. A bit further back is Headers Luck, Final Display, and behind them Stage Performer, Regal Tier. Meteoric Way to the outside, and further back Mr. Mutual Respect, and last of all Parketry as they're making the home turner at the 500 as they straighten up, and Serious Business looks to be travelling well. Led a couple of lengths. Tranquilino is second, and Paris Lane is starting to come into the picture, and so too down the outside, running on pretty well, Jeremiah. They're followed by Banderas. Centouche next is under the whip, followed by Camcorder. Paris Lane on the outside is coming after Serious Business in the final stages, and they've got well clear. Mr. Mutual Respect with a long run down the outside is grabbing both these leaders. Paris Lane the leader. Here comes Mr. Mutual Respect, ducked in slightly. It's Paris Lane in front. Mr. Mutual Respect on the outside trying to get to Paris Lane. They hit the line, and I think Mr. Mutual Respect might have just grabbed Paris Lane. It's very tight. Nothing in it between the pair. In the third place, Serious Business, followed by Regal Tier. And they're followed by Centouche.
Yes, it's a close one. On the New South Wales TAB, Mr. Mutual Respect is showing $22.90 and $5.20. Paris Lane, $1.50 for the place, and Serious Business, the third place getter, $2.30. And it did look that Mr. Mutual Respect had been able to get up in the very last stride, but it is close, and a photo finish required at Flemington. Now, that's the first of 4 races you're going to see live on 9 today. The next will be from Sydney, the 4:30 from Randwick, the Tattersalls Foundation Handicap. We'll be back for that, but right now we go back to our movie, A Friendship in Vienna.
I'll concentrate on you, old Oscar.
And I on you, Ingeline. I'll see you soon. In Zagreb, New York, or wherever the fashionable refugee is traveling these days. Stay clever and good for me.
My grandfather was wrong.
We'll return to the movie shortly, but right now we come to race 5 live at Randwick. It's the Tattersalls Foundation Handicap, a race for 3-year-olds who haven't won more than 1 metropolitan race. The scratching is number 8, Donette. A small field of 7 to run. There's been so much racing over this Christmas New Year period that the fields have fallen away a little, and that's not surprising altogether. Now, Top Chief on the tote is at odds of 14 to 1, but the favourite is Rimsky. Now, this horse is showing a great deal of promise. He's won 2 from 3 so far, and the 2 wins were by big margins. He is ridden by Rodney Quinn and is trained by the veteran Jim Carter at Hawkesbury. Rimsky is the favourite at 5 to 4 on. There he is there with the number 2 saddlecloth, and Rodney Quinn the jockey. Shy Royal is at 7 to 1. Number 4 Osborne at 30 to 1, and he carries club's colours, pink with green armbands and a green cap. Splendid Account is at 14 to 1. Back Off is a clear-cut second favourite at odds of 5 to 2, and number 7 Dreamless is at 30 to 1. Champion jockey Mick Dittman makes his return to Sydney racing today, and here is Mick coming towards the camera. in those conspicuous colours, yellow, black stars, yellow cap. Now, Mick has been everywhere but Sydney in the last couple of months. He's been riding at major meetings in Hong Kong and Singapore. He missed quite a number of meetings over the festive season, and it's also well documented that his wife Maureen has been very ill in recent months, and Mick has deliberately been staying home with Maureen to lend a hand. And today it's really good to see him back in action. He's won one race so far today, winning the second event on the program on Stormy Regent. Without a doubt, one of the greatest jockeys in the world, and regarded universally as Australia's best rider currently. Now, Osborne in the club's colours has moved up into line ahead of Splendid Accounts. Coming along next is Shy Royal. This is a chute start. They travel about 400 metres out of the chutes. They link up with the course proper, where they come to the first turn at the 1,000 metres mark. In big fields, this is a rather tricky barrier, and inside horses seem to have an advantage. However, with only 7 runners here, barriers won't be quite as important. Although I believe they're important whether there are 4 runners or 24. Now, Shy Royal about to move up. Top Chief is down the track a bit, and so is Back Off. $1.80 for Rimsky, and $3.30. A clear-cut second favourite, Back Off, on the tote. Now, Back Off with Mick Dittman on board is walking quietly up to the stalls.
Someone there.
Goes into line. Top Chief is the last one to come up, and the starter, Bill Cooper, striding to the rostrum to release the field, and they are right on time at 4:30 in Eastern Australia. Set. Splendid Account, the inside runner. You can hear the voice of one of those jockeys protesting that he's not quite ready. Stalls open, off and running, and Dreamless jumped in the air at the start, and as a clear last to leave the gate, went straight back to last. Rimsky bounced out in front of Osborne, and going quickly, Shy Royal into third place, followed by Splendid Account, moving around the outside, Top Chief, who's 3 deep at the moment, followed by Back Off, and a length and a half away last after a slow start is Dreamless to the first turn at the 1,000 mark, and this leader fired up a bit. Rimsky wants to go hard, led by 3/4. In second place, Osborne, a length and a half to Top Chief, who's 3 deep on the outside of Shy Royal and Splendid Account. 2 lengths away, Back Off, and 2 to Dreamless last as they leave the 800 behind them. And Rod Quinn's got a lap full of horse here. Rimsky well on the bit, almost joined by Osborne on the outside. Top Chief in third place, then Splendid Account, and Shy Royal dropped off a little, followed by Back Off, and 2 away last, Dreamless on the corner. And Rimsky is just the leader, being hassled by Osborne on the outside. They're well clear on the turn. In third place, Splendid Account, followed by Top Chief, Shy Royal, and Back Off about 5 off the lead, coming over the rise. Quinn having a peep across at the others. He hasn't released the brakes yet. Now he does, and Rimsky dashed away by a length and a half to Osborne. Further out, Top Chief, Back Off running on with Shy Royal, but Rimsky well clear 100 out. Back Off is coming down the outside and finishing strongly, but Rimsky's got a big break, and he's going to make it 3 on the trot. Rimsky won easily from Back Off. I think Dreamless got up for third, a nice run, and then Splendid Account, Top Chief, and the last couple were Osborne and Shy Royal. 3 on the trot to Rimsky, $1.80 and $1.40. Looks like Back Off second, number 6, a place tote of $1.80, and Dreamless third, number 7, insufficient starters for a third tote. Now we have a break, after which we return to the movie A Friendship in Vienna.
Because somehow I knew we'd be back. I knew I'd see you again. But now I don't know.
Now, from A Friendship in Vienna, we go to Flemington Racecourse in Melbourne, Victoria, where the Standish Handicap is about to get underway. A very famous old race. It's over 1,200 metres and a fairly wide betting race. On the tote, the favourite looks to be a horse called Vertingly, trained by David Hayes. He's at odds of 9-2. Number 1, Dapper's Hope, is well in commission at odds of 11-2. Number 7, Verdetto, also at 11-2. And there's a little bit of money for a mare called Queen Echo, TAB number 9, and she's at odds of 8-1. Stephen King, champion young jockey, is riding the favourite Vertingly, who was a beautifully bred 4-year-old by the ill-fated Bletchingly, a champion stallion who died at the stud just a few months ago. Vertingly has run a couple of seconds recently, finishing second at Caulfield in November and second at Flemington in the middle of December behind Verdetto, to which he's opposed again. They're off in the Standish. Here's your caller, John Russell.
With Robbie's Delight and Draft Choice, Turn to Dundee began brilliantly, and away very fast is Minyama, being followed by Darling, who's dropping back, and Lucky Dapper crossing over to lead them on the flat side. They're all heading towards the flat side section of the track as they run down with just under 1,000 metres left to go, and Lucky Dapper leads the way length to Turn to Dundee on the outside of Dapper's Choice. In behind them is Minyama, Draft Choice back behind them, Verdetto, followed by Mr. Elegant and Laser Beamer. Then Southeastern Star a bit further back in the field to Darling over on the inside. Mr. Cube, Queen Echo's a fair way back, and Verdingley's a long way out of its ground as they race onto the course proper with about 500 metres left to go. And Lucky Dapper the leader, a length Laser Beam and Verdetto in the centre, travelling well, being followed by Dapper's Hope the inside. Mr. Elegant, Mr. Cube making ground, and they're followed next by Durham Rivers and Draft Choice over on the inside. A good long gap to Verdingley, who's starting to wind up from a fair way back, but Lucky Dapper is still in front. Laser Beam is second. Verdetto is beaten as they come down inside the final 200 metres, and Laser Beam on the outside, and Lucky Dapper are locked together. Laser Beam, Lucky Dapper fighting on the inside. They've got it between them. Laser Beam on the outside puts its head in front. Here's one flying home, Queen Echo, but on the outside, Laser Beam has just beaten Lucky Dapper, and Queen Echo flew home. Just in behind them there would be Dapper's Hope, followed by Darling.
Right, John Russell's call of the Standish Handicap, and number 12, Laser Beam, ridden by Peter Hutchinson, looks to have prevailed over Queen Echo or Lucky Dapper. Fairly tight photo for second and third. Okay, Laser Beam, Peter Hutchinson is the winner of the Standish Handicap. Now, right now, we return to a friendship in Vienna.
You say such an uncle. Anna?
Live now for Tattersalls Club Cup over 2,000 metres, a listed race carrying prize money of $60,000. Last year's winner Pharaoh heads the weights with 57.5 kilos. Rider is Jimmy Cassidy, and he has the number 1 barrier. Now he's the tote favourite at 2-1. Second pick in a fairly wide betting race looks to be at 11-2. In fact, there are joint second favourites, number 7 Double Take and number 11 the Fledgling, and they're both at 11-2. 8-1 for number 9 Moville Peter, and there's been some support for number 5 Golden Step, who's at 10-1. But a fairly wide betting race, with the exception of Pharaoh, who's a clear-cut favourite now at 2-1. I've never seen him look better. He looks big and strong and very, very healthy. Looks lovely in the coat. He's going to run a heck of a race, Pharaoh. Now there's Gomez going up into line. The Fledgling has moved up towards the extreme outside. We wait on Senor Slick and a Famous Nick. In the Money is one of 2 runners owned by Jack and Bob Ingham, the other one being the Fledgling. In the Money getting a bit long in the tooth now. He's probably not all that far off retirement. As a matter of fact, he's an 8-year-old. Although he did show a glimpse of his best form last time out, when 3rd on this track a couple of weeks back. And we'll see how he goes here. He's drawn in barrier 4 in the black colours with the white star, white cap. Starter moving over as the last couple move into line. It's Tattersalls Club Cup 2000. They look good and they steady down. Off in the Tats Cup, good start Pharaoh, one of the first out. Paladin began well, and so did Golden Step and Cannon Bay, followed by Double Take and Guile. The Fledgling is coming over hard from an outside barrier, and then In the Money in a forward spot, followed by Moville Peter, Caladan, Sawbuck is trapped deep in the run to the first turn. Further back Gomez, and then Senor Slick and Palais de Louvre, followed by Superior Model, and Dittman went straight back to the tail of the field from that outside barrier on Famous Nick. Into the back straight, and Guile on the outside went up to take a narrow lead over the Fledgling. Double Take getting into the box seat, although he's trapped out wide. Pharaoh's on the fence, ran into bother there, had to check to miss the heels of a horse in front. Golden Step between horses, and there's Caladan whipping around the outside. Cannon Bay's in a good spot, followed by Sawbuck, and further back then came Palatine, followed by In the Money from Moville Peter, Gomez. A long way back, Palais de Louvre on the inside of Senor Slick, and the last couple of Famous Nick and Superior Model. In the run to the top turn at the 1100 mark, and Caladan is a clear-cut leader, led by a length to Double Take, and Guile is 3rd, followed by Cannon Bay on the outside of the Fledgling. Pharaoh 6th on the fence from Golden Step. Further back Palatine and Sawbuck, and a gap to In the Money, trapped out deep on the fence Moville Peter, followed by Gomez. Then Senor Slick and Palais de Louvre, and the last couple are Superior Model and Famous Nick as they go by the 800 mark. They've gone at a cracking pace, and the leader Caladan a half length to Double Take, getting closer. The Fledgling's in 3rd place, Cannon Bay off the track, under pressure now, and then Guile. Pharaoh starting to thread his way between between horses. Further back, Golden Step, followed by Palatine. In the money, Mobile Peter, and then Sawbuck, and a long way back, Senor Slick as they turn for home, followed by Gomez and Famous Nick. But coming over the rise, Caladan is joined by the Fledgling with Double Take in between them. Pharaoh has now switched to the outside, followed by Golden Step. To the 200, the Fledgling the leader, but here's Pharaoh. Pharaoh has pounced on the outside, and with 57.5 kilos, Pharaoh has dashed clear. Getting along the fence is Mobile Peter, but Pharaoh's going to make it 2 Tats Cups on the trot, and he overcomes a check to score a big win over Mobile Peter. Double Take has run third, followed by Famous Nick, a good run, and then Palatine, the Fledgling, Caladan. Further back, Golden Step at the head of the others, Senor Slick, Palais de Louvre, then Gomez, In the Money, Superior Model, followed by Sawbuck, and the last couple are Guile and Cannon Bay in Tats Club Cup 1994. And a very, very big win by Pharaoh, who got skittled in the early stages of the race. Lost his position swinging into the back straight, and Jimmy Cassidy was able to pick him up and get him balanced again and rode him a great race thereafter. And Pharaoh, with 57.5, has recorded his second consecutive win in the Tats Cup. And the horse has never looked better. As a 6-year-old, he looked big and strong and beautiful doing his preliminary, and has raced right up to it. Pharaoh, $3.10 and $1.70. Mobile Peter will get second, number 9, to pay a place dividend of $2.70, and a third place in the race. Double Take will be third, number 7, and will pay a place dividend of $2.40. We'll have highlights from Randwick in tonight's news. I'll see you then.
Old cash crops.
Home and across the Tasman.
On a perfect Perth afternoon, a big field contested the West Premier event, with little separating Flemington-trained Diamond Heist and local galloper Palacios in the betting ring. At the start, Diamond Heist appeared to buck jump, and stewards later satisfied themselves the mare hadn't forced the gate open early. Diamond Heist did look the winner when she sprinted clear in the straight, but her main rival in the ring still had something left.
Diamond Heist is the leader. Palacios coming at Diamond Heist. Palacios in front. Diamond Heist is going 2 to its 1. Palacios, Diamond Heist, Palacios. Palacios has nailed Diamond Heist and won the cup a half head. Cathros, I reckon, ran third from Varro's last.
It was another New Year's Day to remember for trainer Alan Matthews, who's now prepared 4 of the last 5 Perth Cup winners.
She had a few problems, and when she was spelled, all that was sorted out before I ever got the horse. And just a different change of environment, stayed away from the track and just let her get on there on her own ability, not working it too hard.
And it was also cup time on the other side of the Tasman today. The all-conquering O'Sullivans triumphed again in the Auckland Cup.
Inside Newt, dash to the front, a length and a half now. On the outside, Dionera is coming quickly with Nutso and Lord Trident. Inside Newt, Dionera ranging up on the outside with on the inside as they go towards the line. No, he held them all out inside Newt. Photo second between Lord Trident and Dionera.
Back at home, the time-honoured double at Flemington. Firstly, the Standish handicap, and it was 5 to 1 the field.
Laser Beam on the outside puts its head in front. Here's one flying home, Queen Echo, but on the outside, Laser Beam has just beaten Lucky Dapper, and Queen Echo flew home.
And the stayers went around in the Bagot handicap.
200. Top Rating takes the lead now, and Top Rating is clear. Kalinski battling on, then Royal Print and Strike Home, but it's Top Rating racing home to a very easy victory in the Bagot and wins it very easily. Top Rating has won it.
In Sydney, Mark Reed, Sports Tonight tip, the Tommy Smith-trained Pharaoh put up a terrific performance to win the Tats Club Cup.
To the 200, the Fledgling the leader, but here's Pharaoh. Pharaoh has pounced on the outside, and with 57.5 kilos, Pharaoh has dashed clear. Getting along the fence is Mobile Peter, but Pharaoh's going to make it 2 Tats Cups on the trot, and he overcomes a check to score a big win over Mobile Peter.
Mark Reed's spot on again. In the halcyon days of speedway racing, the Sydney Showground attracted thousands of fans every Saturday night. Tonight, the clock wound back to the roar of solo bikes and sidecars.
During the 60s and 70s, a night at the Skids was one of the most popular forms of entertainment around.